Once upon a time, there was a foot fetishizer and Nazi killer sympathizer named Quentin. Decades before this here Quentin made his maybe final film, Something in Hollywood, this Quentin fella laid out his respect for a director who got so good at his gig that he played with audience expectation to the point of not climaxing all that he'd set up. He said this to a man who seemed to live in outer space or some cave or whatnot.
The thing that's really fascinating about Raising Cain is you see a guy, and I told this to him and he agreed with me. The whole thing works to annoy the viewer because it's like you've got a man who look, I created more or less in these last 20 years this type of film, all right? And I do it better than anybody, but you know what? I'm bored with doing it now. All right, so the only way I can make it interesting for me is to completely dissect it and not pay you off. Yeah. You know, so it became like this, really almost kind of like filmic experiment on how not to satisfy the audience.
The scientist types call it blue balls. Join me as I dissect this here Hollywood film and show y'all that we as a people are the victims of blue ball propaganda, because this Quentin fella seemed to get a tickle out of that kind of manipulation. This blue ballsing is most notable in the plotline of Cliff Booth, henceforth known as Blue Balls Man or BBM. Early in the tale, BBM sees a sexy girl with no job, not once, not twice, but thrice, each time increasing the sexual tension between them.
How are those pickles?
Real good.
It is during that third encounter that she offers to pay for her ride by saying,
Want me to stuff your cock while driving?
Now, sexual tension in the movies are Chekhov's gun, and Chekhov's guns need to be fired by that parent rule of storytelling. But BBM, who apparently ain't got no other women on the go, has the gall to say,
How old are you?
There is one more moment of sexuality between them, and it's when horny hippie girl says,
Man, Charlie's gonna dig you.
Now, Charlie refers to Mr. Manson of Mindhunter fame. That's on the telly. There ain't no sexual payoff between these two, hence,
things are turning blue.
Now, most threads in this movie seemingly die via blue ballsing out. But, in fact, they are actually absorbed into the plotline of